one of our favorite people, Nick Mangold of the New York Jets, their center. He joins us now on the show. Nick, it's Michael and Don. How you doing?
I'm doing well. You guys?
We're doing okay. So, I mean, what has gone on the last couple of weeks?
Well, we lost 2 games, which I think is stating the obvious. But I think, unfortunately, we just haven't been clicking. And, obviously everyone here is disappointed in a loss and frustrated having back-to-back losses. But, after watching the film today, seeing the corrections that need to be made, I think guys are hungry to get back in here and, right the ship.
All right, it's a quarter of the season. It's a lot and it's a little, depending on how you look at it. Where's the line, Nick, of we need to clean this up, these are mistakes, or this is what we are as a football team?
Well, I mean, clearly you don't want to be a losing football team, so that line is still there, that the mistakes need to be cleaned up. And a lot of it has to do with communication. There's some technique errors in there, but all stuff that we can clean up and the stuff that we know that we have to clean up if we want to do go out there and win some games.
The INTs are a concern, Nick, when somebody throws 9 interceptions in 2 games. I mean, is anybody on the offensive side losing faith in Ryan?
No, there's no loss of faith here, because I think when you look at interceptions, I think all the blame falls on the quarterback, but there's a lot of things that go into it. If we don't hold up on our end on protection, if we rush him, or if there's a guy in his face when he's throwing, that could mess up a throw. Receivers and their timing, getting to the spots that they need to be in. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. And I think, a lot of times the quarterback takes all the glory and he takes all the blame. But at the same time, it's still a team game, and we got to help out each other, and we all have to raise our game up.
Nick, not a lot of changes. I guess left tackle obviously is the change with Brick gone, but is it curious to you that there's communication problems with a veteran team that hasn't had much turnover?
Yeah, I think it's not so much communication as in, between the plays and everything, but I think it's just the little things of, hey, I thought we were going to do this block this way. Hey, where's the mic on this one? Hearing a call, when we were in Kansas City, it was very loud, and that made things difficult. And, at the same time, like you look at yesterday, Brian got hurt. So we have a right side that has 2 guys that weren't playing there last year. So I think there's different things that we're still trying to work through, but they're all things that we can correct and that we need to.
You talked about Brian. I mean, what's he doing? Why would you headbutt a guy? And obviously he didn't plan on getting a concussion, but how do you explain that?
Yeah, I don't know if you can. I think it's an unfortunate set of events, and unfortunately I haven't been able to talk to him yet today. He's been in with the trainers and everything, so haven't really got his side of it, his view of it, but, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
All right, you've been there and done that in all the years that you've been in this league, Nick, so how much leadership have you had to show during this time?
Yeah, I mean, you try to show it when you're winning and when you're losing. I don't think it's hey, we've lost 2 games, so now, we need to come out and have these great speeches and everything. Just as when we're winning, it doesn't have to be, hey, look at me, I'm leading this pack. I think the biggest thing is show leadership by going in, doing, your job, holding guys accountable to do their jobs, and, continuing to keep your head down and keep grinding. And I think that's what this team needs. Talking
with Nick Mangold, Jet Player Spotlight. Nick, the running game has disappeared the last couple of games, and Todd Ball said we need to get that running game, and it's hard to have Fitzpatrick throw 85 times in the last 2 games. So what exactly do you guys have to tighten up on the running?
Well, I think you look at and you got to give Seattle credit. They're a heck of a defense, but we started out pretty strong running the game. We got to continue with that. They started doing some different things, and we need to be able to make those adjustments. And we need to, especially on the field, if they start playing a technique a little bit different, you have to, as a player, you have to be able to change up your technique. And, as we look at the film, we saw that. There's a couple of things that I wish I could have had back, which you hate to say, after a game. But, those are things that you can correct, and those are things you can learn from and get better.
I'm curious, though. Sometimes I just wonder, is it just a lack of running? Like, it didn't seem like you guys ran the ball much in the red zone last week in Kansas City, and I thought the lack of running in the second half was more of a byproduct of falling behind by a couple of scores. So is it ineffective running or just not being in the situation where you can run?
Well, I think it's both. I think, when you do get down, you got to try to air the ball out a little bit more to, try to catch up. But at the same time, when you do get your number called, when you get the opportunity to run the ball, even if you do have limited number of tries, you got to make sure those are perfect. So, there's a bunch of different factors and, all things, again, that we can work on and get better at.
Now, toward the end of the game, there were some shots of you on TV, then you looked really, really chapped. People are wondering whether or not you were upset at Michael Bennett. What were you upset at?
Well, I just, at the end there, we threw that last interception. Rich Sherman had come down with it. He was starting to run and then realized it was his best interest for his team to take a knee. I was running down there because, it's still a live ball. He takes a knee. I start pulling up, and then, I get hit from behind. I thought that that was a cheap, dirty shot that isn't necessary in our game. And, I think that that usually will get me fired up pretty well.
Did you say anything to him?
Nothing that I think should be repeated on radio.
All right, well, maybe if we get you, alone one time. They seem like a very unlikable team. Is that fair?
Shoot, they've been one of the best defenses for the past couple of years. And, when you're at the top, people are always gunning for you. So, I think that, unfortunately, that play mars me a little bit on, my view of them, but everyone's got their own opinion.
And Bennett was the guy that Winters headbutted too, right? So he was in the middle of that.
Yeah, and again, I don't know what happened on that one. I'm not sure how that all transpired, but I had nothing to do with it. So if it was anything that had to do with that, it seems even more crazy.